Hockey, brought to you by Domino's Pizza on 105.7 myFM. Joining in the intermission now by Director of Hockey Operations and GM of the Strathroy Rockets, Dan Gibson. You were saying off the air, good opening 20 minutes. Your thoughts in that period?
Yeah, definitely. Anytime you come out 0-0 on the road, it's a good period for you. And we put some pucks at the net and played strong in our own zone, so that's always a good road period.
2 games left to go in the regular season. The Rockets can get as best as 4th or as worst as 7th. I asked David in the pregame, I'll ask you the same thing. Have you seen the Western Conference this tight, this late in the season?
No, not this late in the season. I mean, we've seen it tight till a couple weeks before the end of the season, and a couple teams usually step apart. But this year is just, it's been one of those special seasons where if you're not on your game every single night, you can find yourself moving 2 or 3 positions with a loss, or moving up 2 or 3 positions with a win.
Give us your synopsis on the second half of the season for Strathroy.
Well, definitely a lot stronger than our first half of the season. A little bit of up and down. We started the new year very strong. It's what we wanted to do. We tailed off a little bit, but there were some injuries there. There were some suspensions that we had to deal with. So overall, I think we're pretty satisfied with the second half of the season. It's always nice to end up with home ice, but you know what? As long as we're playing well, going into the playoffs, we're excited about our chances.
The team you put together, and you and your staff put together a couple of team bonding sessions in the second half of the year. Correct me if I'm wrong. Were there any in the first half, Dan?
No, we didn't really do a whole lot in the first half, but you know what? We know in the second half we really had to bring the team together. We didn't want any type of separation. Obviously, everybody has to be on the same page, from the staff all the way through to the players, and and we felt that with a couple of different sessions that it was going to bring us together. And I think one of the big things is the captain's dinner is always a good night, and stuff like that really kind of brings the kids together, and they see that there's more to life than just hockey, and then they can do it together as well. And then again, it brings the focus back to the rink as well.
It wasn't too long ago that you were behind a bench of this hockey club and assistant coach's role. I don't really want to ask you to step on toes, but I'm going to put the coach's hat back on you. Is the team where it needs to be heading into the postseason, or is there some fine-tuning in certain areas that needs to be done?
Yeah, we always got some fine-tuning. I mean, with the injuries that we've sustained in the last little while and a couple of suspensions, obviously we've got some tweaking to do going into the first few games of the playoffs. But our coaching staff's ready for that. They know what they have to do, and they're willing to make the commitment to make the changes that they have to so that we can be successful.
You can play anybody from London to St. Mary's to St. Thomas, possibly even Leamington. Does it matter to you who the Rockets will play?
Well, you know what? You always have that same old famous saying that you got to beat everybody. But realistically, the less travel that you have, the fresher you're going to be. So you know what? We would be okay with playing London, St. Thomas, or even St. Mary's. There's a lot less travel, and it's a little less wear and tear on the players as well. There's
a ton of games still to go before the season wraps up Sunday night. Are you going to be a scoreboard watching?
Definitely. Actually, we might not just be scoreboard watching. We might be physically at the games ourselves.
I asked Coach Dale Tillmans behind a bench this evening, Saturday night's game against Lambton Shores, if you cannot advance the position, will you rest players? He said absolutely not. We need to be firing on all cylinders going in.
Yeah, definitely. And we just talked about we got to be ready, and we got to be playing our best hockey going into the playoffs. And we're sitting kids out, maybe give them a little bit of a rest, but you don't want that mentality that, hey, we're going to rest you or we're going to sit you out. You want them firing, like you said, on all cylinders with that mentality of going into the first game of the playoffs that I'm ready to go and I've had my chances, and we're going to make the best of that.
Appreciate your time. Congratulations on another postseason berth, and good luck in the postseason this year.
Thanks a lot, Chris.
Director of Hockey Operations and GM for the Strathroy Rockets, Dan Gibson. Stay with us. Coming up after the break, our period summary on our out-of-town. Scored 0-0 after the opening period. You're listening to Strathroy Rockets Hockey live on myFM.